Hey guys, Julie here. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is part of a collab hosted by Rachel from Day to Day Joy. It is a All Things Pumpkin collab. So we were given the free reign to do any video we wanted that had to do with pumpkins, whether it's a craft, a DIY, something at the pumpkin patch, recipes, anything. Well, I'm doing all things relating to food and or I guess drink. So today I will have a pumpkin spice creamer for you. I will have a paleo keto pumpkin spice bagel, which actually turned out really good, and a pumpkin spice pasta sauce, and then lastly a pumpkin spice, or not a pumpkin spice, a pumpkin layered pudding dessert. So please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these recipes. Also, please subscribe if you haven't. I would love to have you part of my YouTube community. Thank you guys so much for watching. So we're going to start with the pumpkin spice creamer. I did 2/3 of a cup of unsweetened vanilla almond milk and then 1/3 of a cup of heavy whipping cream for the base. Next I did 2 tablespoons of pure pumpkin from the can, not the pumpkin pie mix, just pumpkin. Next I put in 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup for a sweetener. You could use Truvia or something else, stevia if you wanted. And then I put in 1/4 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. Then I added 1/4 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Take the creamer and pour into a small saucepan. You'll want to mix it up really well with a whisk and bring it to a low simmer. Then it is ready to go. You can use it now. I stored it in a mason jar in the fridge, and it lasted me, with the amount of coffee I drink in a day and creamer, it lasted me roughly 5 days. So you might want to double it. This is the paleo keto pumpkin bagels that I made. I will leave a link below with the recipe. So I tried this Cucina Antica Tuscany pumpkin pasta sauce, and it was super good, guys. Like, I highly recommend you go and find this at your grocery store. It's worth it. So the last recipe I'm going to share with you is the layered pumpkin pudding dessert. Okay, so we're going to start with the pecan butter crust, and we're going to put 1.5 cups of flour in a medium-sized bowl. I'm using all-purpose gluten-free flour, but you could use regular flour. It calls for 1/2 cup of brown sugar, but because I am going to use this Truvia brown sugar blend, it only takes 1/4 cup to be the same sweetness. 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 cup of finely chopped pecans, or pecans, however you say it. I used my Pampered Chef chopper thing. I don't know what you call it, but I always use this for this kind of thing. I don't use it for vegetables or anything, but I love using it to chop up nuts. And then you just take a fork and you mix this all together. And then you need to add the butter. So I added in 9 tablespoons of cold butter, which is 1 stick plus 1 tablespoon worth of butter. And it is important that you make sure it is cold because it's kind of what holds the crust together. And it melts when it's cooking. It's just the way you got to make a buttery crust. But it does take a little muscles. And if I had a pastry cutter in thingy, which I don't have, maybe it'd be a little easier. I'm using a fork. But you're just going to crush it and break it up into little pieces. I'm going to go do this and then I will be back. Okay, so I worked it all in and then I'm just pressing it into the bottom of a 9 by 13 pan. You don't need to like grease or butter the bottom of the pan. And then you cook it at 325 for, I think it said 18 to 20 minutes, or until it's like golden brown and has a good nutty smell. And then I will let you guys know what it looks like. So to start the cream cheese layer, I'm going to take 12 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, which is the same as 1.5 packets. A cup of confectioner sugar. To save a little bit on calories, I did use the Swerve sugar replacer. And I'm just going to blend this up, then add some whipped cream. So it's been blended, and now I'm going to put in a cup of whipped topping, and I'm just going to fold that in with my spatula. You don't want to totally mash up the whipped cream, so that's why you're just kind of folding it in. Okay. So for this third layer, you're going to put 2.5 cups of milk in a bowl. Then you're going to add 3 packages of instant pudding mix. I used the Godiva white chocolate, but you could also just use regular vanilla. After I've incorporated this and made it into a pudding, I add 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin. So this is what it will look, the crust will look like after it has been cooked and cooled. Then I will add the different layers. So the first layer was the one that we used with the cream cheese, whipped topping, and powdered sugar. Then the second layer that I'll put on is the one that we did the pudding and the pumpkin. The third layer will be just plain whipped cream, and then I will also sprinkle some pecans on top. Be sure to go check out the collab link that I will have below in the description box to go see what the other ladies did for their pumpkin videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will catch you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.